Video notice of immediate status correction and return of Republican form of government in all 50 states. This notice has gone out across the nation to Supreme Court members, attorney generals, governors, and various congressmen. The creators of all government, we the people of the 50 American states, as seen in Article 1, Section 2 of the Texas State Constitution, Republican in form, sui juris, are serving you with this notice so that you and your agents may provide immediate due care. Please take notice that we the people are the creators of all government in our nation, both state and federal. Government is only instituted for the protection, security, and benefit of the people, and not to usurp the rights of the people. As the people, it is our inherent right to reform, alter, and abolish any government when it fails its purpose of ensuring and protecting our rights. Sui juris means of his own right, not under the power of another. Evidence. Georgia State Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 1. All government of right originates with the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. Public officers are the trustees and servants of the people and are at all times amenable to them. Alabama State Constitution, Article 1, Section 35. That the sole object and only legitimate end of government is to protect the citizen in the enjoyment of life, liberty, and property, and when the government assumes other functions, it is usurpation and oppression. Amenable means accountable, responsible to, liable to punishment. Missouri State Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, that all constitutional government is intended to promote the general welfare of the people, that all persons have a natural right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and the enjoyment of the gains of their own industry, that all persons are created equal and are entitled to equal rights and opportunity under the law, that to give security to these things is the principal office of government, and that when government does not confer this security, it fails in its chief design. Maxim of Law 51.0. All political power is inherent in the people by decree of God, thus none can exist except it be derived from them. Maxim of Law 51.R. As usurpation is the exercise of power, which another has a right to, so tyranny is the exercise of power beyond right, which nobody can have a right to. Fundamental principles of law. Take notice that in order to preserve the blessing of liberty, ensure our rights, and maintain a free government, it is an inherent right of the people to provide our trustees and servants with a frequent recurrence to the fundamental principles of law. As trustees and servants of the people, it is the people's right to have full control over all public servants who are employed to act on behalf of the people. Inherent right means a right a person has because he is a person. Evidence. Arizona State Constitution, Article 2, Declaration of Rights, Section 1. A frequent recurrence to fundamental principles is essential to the security of individual rights and the perpetuity of free government. Wisconsin State Constitution, Article 1, Declaration of Rights, Section 22. The blessings of a free government can only be maintained by a firm adherence to justice, moderation, temperance, frugality, and virtue, and by frequent recurrence to fundamental principles. Maxim of Law 51Q. A frequent recurrence to fundamental principles and a firm adherence to justice, virtue, and original law are indispensably necessary to preserve the blessings of liberty and good government. Maxim of Law 96H. One is a servant who is employed by a master to perform service in his affairs and whose physical conduct in performance of the service is controlled by the master. Republican form of government. Take notice that all 50 states are guaranteed a Republican form of government and subject to this limitation only. As elected representatives, you are in a position as trustees and servants of the people, and those duties to which you are strictly bound are expressed in your trust indentures, the 51 constitutions. Therefore, please show where in the constitutions we the people granted you the authority to violate and trespass on the rights reserved by the people, as absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in a republic. Evidence. Texas State Constitution, Article 1, Section 2. All political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit. The faith of the people of Texas stands pledged to the preservation of a Republican form of government, and subject to this limitation only, they have at all times the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish their government in such manner as they may think expedient. Kentucky State Constitution, Bill of Rights, Section 2. Absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in a republic, not even in the largest majority. Maxim of Law, 43A. Those things which cannot be given or which are not in existence are held as not expressed. Maxim of Law, 11F. Power can never be delegated which the authority said to delegate never possessed itself. Maxim of Law, 51I. Individual liberties are antecedent to all government. Antecedent means prior in point of time. Inherent and unalienable rights. Take notice that all men are free by nature and have inherent and unalienable rights, which include the rights to life, liberty, safety, and happiness. As a trustee of the people, is it not your duty to ensure our rights while maintaining our peace, safety, and happiness? Who delegated you privileges to trespass on the rights of the people? Please provide the constitutional provisions which grant you the authority to harm, hinder, or impair the rights of the people, or your actions will be considered as done with full intent, knowledge, and malice against the rights of the people. Unalienable means inalienable, incapable of being sold or transferred. Evidence. Ohio State Constitution, Article 1, Section 1. All men are, by nature, free and independent, and have certain inalienable rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending life and liberty, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and seeking and obtaining happiness and safety. New Jersey State Constitution, Article 1, Section 1. All persons are by nature free and independent, and have certain natural and unalienable rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending life and liberty, of acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and of pursuing and obtaining safety and happiness. Maxim of Law, 92AA. The deprivation of any rights may be punished. Maxim of Law, 86A. It would be idle and trite to say that no right is absolute. Maxim of Law, 86M. No right is held more sacred or is more carefully guarded by the common law than the right of every individual to the possession and control of his own person, free from all restraint or interference of others, unless by clear or unquestionable authority of law. No authority. Take notice that no government nor governmental agent has been delegated any powers or authority over any reserved rights by the people, those as declared in the bills and declarations of the 50 state constitutions. Therefore, please show where in the state constitutions you have been granted privileges to infringe, impair, alter, or even legislate over these rights. Failure to provide the constitutional provisions proves that your actions are a direct trespass with malice on the rights of the people. Evidence. Texas State Constitution, Article 1, Section 29. To guard against transgressions of the high powers herein delegated, we declare that everything in this Bill of Rights is accepted out of the general powers of government, and shall forever remain inviolate, and all laws contrary thereto, or to the following provisions, shall be void. Kentucky State Constitution, Bill of Rights, Section 26. To guard against transgression of the high powers which we have delegated, we declare that everything in this Bill of Rights is accepted out of the general powers of government, and shall forever remain inviolate, and all laws contrary thereto, or contrary to this Constitution, shall be void. Inviolate means intact, not violated, free from substantial impairment. Tennessee State Constitution, Article 11, Section 16. The Declaration of Rights hereto prefixed is declared to be a part of the Constitution of the state, and shall never be violated on any pretense whatever. And to guard against transgression of the high powers we have delegated, we declare that everything in the Bill of Rights contained is accepted out of the general powers of the government, and shall forever remain inviolate. Maxim of Law, 77F. No free man shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property, but by the lawful judgment of his peers, or by the law of the land, that is, the common law. No rulemaking. Take notice that individual liberties are not revocable, and the Constitution supersedes all other laws. Where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking which would abrogate them. In fact, the legislature has not been granted any authority to write legislation over any natural rights of the people. Evidence. New Jersey State Constitution, Article 1, Paragraph 21. This enumeration of rights and privileges shall not be construed to impair or deny others retained by the people. Michigan State Constitution, Article 1, Section 23. The enumeration in this Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Maxim of Law 62p. An unconstitutional act is not a law. It confers no rights. It imposes no duties. It affords no protection. It creates no office. It is, in legal contemplation, as inoperative as though it had never been passed. Maxim of Law 62f. The mandate of an immoral or illegal thing is void. Evidence. Court cases. Miranda v. Arizona from 1966. Where rights secured by the constitutions are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. Marbury v. Madison from 1803. A law repugnant to the Constitution is void. An act of Congress repugnant to the Constitution cannot become a law. The Constitution supersedes all other laws, and the individual's rights shall be liberally enforced in favor of him, the clearly intended and expressly designated beneficiary. Immediate status correction. Take notice that we the people are declaring the immediate correction of our status as one of the people, the creators of all government, who hold all political power. We will no longer accept or allow the unlawful misuse and reclassification of our status as an artificial person, which has been intentionally used to incorrectly place us in the wrong status, standing, and jurisdiction. Furthermore, we will not tolerate any public servants, government agents, or private actors, including bar attorneys, acting in a manner that harms, hinders, misleads, or trespasses on the rights of the people. Evidence. Corporation. Arizona Constitution, Article 14, Section 1. The term corporation, as used in this article, shall be construed to include all associations and joint stock companies having any powers or privileges of corporations not possessed by individuals or co-partnerships, and all corporations shall have the right to sue and shall be subject to be sued in all courts in like cases as natural persons. Definition. Artificial person. Artificial person means an entity such as a corporation created by law and given certain legal rights and duties of a human being, a being, real or imaginary, who for the purpose of legal reasoning is treated more or less as a human being. An entity is a person for purposes of the due process and equal protection clauses, but is not a citizen for purposes of the privileges and immunities clauses in Article 4, Section 2, and in the 14th Amendment. Also termed fictitious person, juristic person, judicial person, legal person, moral person, legal entity. Definition. Corporation. Corporation means an artificial person or legal entity created by or under the authority of the laws of a state or nation, composed in some rare instances of a single person and his successors, being the incumbents of a particular office, but ordinarily consisting of an association of numerous individuals who subsist as a body politic under a special denomination, which is regarded in law as having a personality and existence distinct from that of its several members, and which is, by the same authority, vested with the capacity of continuous succession, irrespective of changes in its membership, either in perpetuity or for a limited term of years, and of acting as a unit or single individual in matters relating to the common purpose of the association, within the scope of the powers and authorities conferred upon such bodies by law. Order and demand. Please take final notice that it is our wish, order, and demand that all trustees, servants, agents, and bar members are to immediately stop blocking and interfering with the people's inherent rights, including any reserved rights of the people. Any man or woman who decides to suppress this notice agrees to pay $100,000 per infraction, and any disputes by any public officials or private actors who are bound by contract to any of the 50 state constitutions agrees to have these matters heard before an arbitrator of my choice and bound thereby. Furthermore, if you believe any of the above claims are untrue, or that you have the authority to harm and infringe upon the rights of the free people, please provide the constitutional provisions that grant you such privileges. All responses must be submitted by affidavit, sworn under penalty of perjury, within 5 days of receiving this notice, or you agree, by acquiescence, all statements in this notice to be true and fact. Further, you agree that you are acting with full knowledge, intent, and malice by trespassing on the people's inherent rights, and that no court shall be able to rehear this matter, but it shall stand as truth and evidence in all courts of record. Please send your affidavit via certified mail to the sender of this notice and post publicly on your government website, including any social media or other public platforms. This notice is sent to you in peace and with the love of Christ, so that you may provide due care to those who have all political power, the people. Final instructions. There is a link in the description box below this video for submitting this notice to government officials across America. You can click on the link, fill in your information, and hit submit, and this notice will be emailed to the individuals listed on the notice, plus many others. You can also print out a copy of this notice on legal-size paper, single-sided, and mail by certified return receipt to have proof you sent it and evidence that they received it. Keep the original for yourself and mail copies to the names listed on the notice. This notice was used with permission and modified slightly for video use. Thank you for watching.